Hey guys, and welcome back to another video from Tin4 Hat Advised. So in the UK specifically, the biggest issue a lot of people are having is why aren't we in a full enforced military style lockdown? Now other countries have chosen to go down this route, such as China, Italy, Spain, India, lots of other countries through the Eastern Europe, Middle East have gone down into that military style of lockdown, as have some other European countries. Now, the main reason that the UK, I feel, hasn't gone into a military style lockdown is because it doesn't really look physically possible to do it. Now, there are going to be a lot of people who disagree with me on this, but there is one case in point evidence from recent history. The Tottenham riots that then went across London, we're talking maybe 3,000-4,000 people that got involved in these riots, and the police just couldn't stop them. They had no way to control it, or even they barely contained it. So you've got to look at the sheer logistics of shutting down a country, let alone London. I mean, even if you just tried to lock down London, it would take nearly all of the policing force in the country to actually secure it, because of one simple fact: we don't fear the authorities in this country. We have put through so much legislation to make this country great to live in nice peaceful times, with a very liberal agenda, which is fine for lots of things. But for this situation, it is terrible. We have grown into a culture in this country of, yeah, what are you going to do about it, copper? People are arguing with police on the street right now. There's videos everywhere of it happening. There was a woman yesterday, my housemate was just telling me, there was a woman yesterday in Richmond, just round the corner from me, arguing with police on the riverside who had warned her she couldn't sit and be by the riverside. She had an hour to exercise and for her day, and that was it. She needed to go home. 2 hours later, they came back and she tried to tell them she was mentally exercising. And obviously they arrested her and she kept arguing the point. But that's still not a deterrent for people. That's my point. She wasn't afraid of the police. She wasn't afraid of being arrested. We don't have a fear in our culture of the police or any authority. So if you did a military style lockdown, I can already see people in many areas across London, the badder areas, I'm not going to name names because people know. If you live in England or in London, you'll know. In every city there's bad areas where people just don't fear authority even more. Like on a day-to-day, they just don't have any fear of authority. So if they step out of their house because they want to go and exercise and they get asked by a policeman or even a member of the army, what are you doing? They're going to go, it's none of your business, fuck off. So, and even if they threaten them, well, we'll arrest you. All right, do what you want to do. What are you going to do about it? We're not afraid they're going to shoot us. We're not afraid they're going to beat us. We're not afraid they're going to do anything. Worst case scenario, you get thrown in prison. Oh, well, you were locked in anyway. It's not a deterrent. So the best thing Boris has done with this, and the smartest thing his and it's not just Boris, I said this from the start, it's all of his regime have got their heads together and gone, how can we inflict a lockdown without inflicting a lockdown? Fear. British public are begging for a lockdown. They are begging for stricter measures. They are begging for people to stay at home. They are policing this themselves. They are shouting at each other. They are berating each other. They are making sure each other stay 2 meters back, stay in their houses. And yeah, sure, there's still some idiots going out to parks and having picnics. But if you add up the actual number of people doing that, it's a couple of hundred across all of London. We're talking millions of people. I mean, this is a huge success story from the government's perspective. They have inflicted a lockdown without actually implementing a lockdown. It's genius. Now, the other benefits involved in not enforcing a full military style lockdown is they haven't had to involve the military. They haven't tied up police or military forces in dealing with a lockdown, and that has freed them up to be proper emergency services for the country, for military transporting stuff for the NHS and moving things around. They are doing, the medics are helping out in hospitals. They have freed up so much time to actually deal with the crisis in that sense, and allowed the police to carry on policing and dealing with regular crime and regular incidents, and actually kind of just mildly enforces lockdown, like we said, like just crawling around and telling people you shouldn't be out anymore, come on now, this is getting silly. And also dealing with the idiots that are going around coughing on people, sneezing on people. There was an incident in my hometown. Someone went into their local co-op and started coughing on people, shouting, "I've got COVID-19, coughing on people." Then went into the chemist and started coughing on people, shouting it as well. Now, luckily, the pharmacist detained that person until the police arrived. But there are idiots out there, and the police need to be free to deal with that, not walking around some quiet, sleepy neighborhood telling people to get back in their houses because of a forced military lockdown. So again, another smart move from the government.